Hello everyone and welcome to another Vlogmas video, and I am doing another book recommendation. This is another book that I read for 2021, and again I'm trying to do a spread in my bullet journal or in my reading journal that talks about my favorite books of 2021. And today we are talking about The Inheritance of Orquidia Divina by Zoraida Cordova. I hope you're not tired of me talking about this book because I will be talking about this book for a while. So this page I found it on a coloring book, and I don't have that coloring book anymore, but it was just a coloring book with different animals, and I saw the hummingbirds. If you can see in the cover of the book, there are two hummingbirds right by the flower, and the hummingbirds do play a key aspect of the story. So I thought this would be perfect instead of trying to color or draw a hummingbird myself, just make my life a little easier this time. Although in the future I do want to try and draw one myself, but for this one I just decided to cut the pages from the coloring book and put them in my reading journal and then color them in. So to color everything in, I used several things that I have here. I used the Archer and Olive Calliograph pens, and I've only used these a few times, but I really like how the colors that they have. This was in a subscription box. I believe it was the one for September, and I really like them. The only thing I don't like is the caps. Sometimes they don't stay in very tight, and when I'm drawing, sometimes I don't pay attention and don't seal them well. So, but other than that, I really like how these turned out. I also use the Tumble brush pens. I use the green one. It's kind of like a forest green. It's the 228, and I use that one for most of the bigger leaves. And after that, I used my Crayola Super Tips for the other flowers and little details here and there. The Crayola Super Tips are a great pack to have because they have a variety of colors and they came out really nice. Yo quiero luz de luna para mi noche triste, para sentir divina la ilusión que me trajiste, para sentirme mía, mía tú como ninguna, pues desde que te fuiste no he tenido luz de luna. From Luz de Luna by Álvaro Carrillo. So this is the story about Orquídea Divina as a child and a teenager in her life in Ecuador, but then later on as an adult interacting with her children, but especially with the grandchildren who are key characters in the story. This is how the story starts. We begin with chapter 0, the invitation. You are invited to my home on May 14th, the year of the hummingbird. Please begin to arrive no earlier than 1:04 p.m., as I have many matters to settle before the event. The stars have shifted. The earth has turned. The time is here. I am dying. Come and collect your inheritance. Eternally, Orquidia Divina Montoya. So, in this book, we go back and forth between Orquídea Divina settling her inheritance with all of her family members now as she's about to die, and going back to her childhood in Ecuador and the interactions with her mother and her stepdad, and how the way that she's treated after more children come into their lives. So later on, we find out that Orquídea made some choices when she was still a teenager, and we are slowly finding out how these choices have affected her entire life and are also affecting her family, especially some of the main characters, like some of her grandchildren, who are Raimundo, Marimar, Tatinelli, and then later on her great granddaughter. To let you know a little bit about the author, Zoraida Cordova was born in Guayaquil, Ecuador. She now lives in New York City, and she does have other work, but it's mostly in the young adult section. This is her first adult novel. So, just to give you a little taste of Zoraida Cordova's writing, I am going to read just a little piece. I won't give you any context of the story, so I won't spoil anything. But this is what she wrote. But Marimar felt it, the familiar pull of the night, the whisper of the earth. Those times her grandmother had told her to find fairies in the hills, to listen to the stars. Marimar had always come home defeated. Now she knew she hadn't been listening. They had been with her all along. The dragonflies shimmered with the light, racing all around the twilight valley, with the magic of fading stars and the wild mountains. They were here for her. They screamed at her, and Marimar did what she wanted to do since she returned home. She screamed back. I really find the stories of the grandchildren really captivating. Um, the way, for example, Marimar has so many questions surrounding her mother's death and how she's always been um, trying to get some answers from her grandmother and never been able to fully find closure and find peace surrounding her mother's death. And she doesn't really know who her father is, but as the story evolves, then we kind of put the pieces together, and it is just mind blowing uh, what we find out about her father. And of course, I can't really say anything because I don't want to spoil it, but it is so good. That whole part about Marimar trying to find what happened to her mother and who her father is, it is so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. Then we have Raimundo, who is kind of like this person that is trying to find himself. And of course, he does have all these questions, but he's trying to find the questions on his own. He knows that he's not going to get them from his grandmother because so many people have tried, including Marimar. And so he's out in the world trying to find himself, really. And he's such a great character too. This book is just full of great characters, but definitely Raimundo is one of my favorites. Of course, Marimar, and then um, it's just the other grandchildren, Tatinelli. Oh my God, I just wish I could sit here and spoil the whole thing for you, just tell you the whole story, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stop myself. So this is it for my little mini review of The Inheritance of Orquidia Divina. I hope you liked the review. I hope that you like the spread that I created, and I hope you give this book a try. And yeah, this is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.